It's a horrible day in the mass pit. A horrible day in the mass pit. Hey everyone, Nick down here in the mass pit. And I've got a little something special here. Something I've never done in a video before. And it's under this veil right here. What's that? Oh. My little timer. This tells me that my mold is done draining down there. I'm going to be doing a dead relic, and I'm also going to be filming the making of a dead relic, so you can see how that's done. But anyway, that's different. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about what's coming up. Here is a TOTS 78 mask. Now, my last video, the mask that can't be unseen, was so popular, I am going to try to replicate that look on the 78 mask. A lot of people said they want to see the 78 mask transformed into something gritty and grimy. So I am going to do that. That will be an upcoming video. I also want to, other people have said, this is the infamous Temu rip-off mask of the 78 mask. A lot of people have said that they want to see this finished, not in a mask that you can't unsee version, but just finish it to see if it has any potential. So that's coming up. And also, I got a 13 blank here. Listen. Thud, thud, thud. That's going to be a special project, and I can't even tell you what that is yet. But so anyway, what we have here, every now and then, a upcoming artist will send me their new mask. They want to get into sculpting Michael Myers masks, and I do confer with a bunch of people sometimes when they're starting out, and I try to lead them along the way and this and that. But this is not the case with this mask. I happened to see this mask, and I don't know where I saw it. It could have been on Facebook or someplace. And then I happened to go to this artist's YouTube channel, and I was quite captivated. The guy's name is Mike Macabre. That's not his real name. That's his YouTube name. And I was quite captivated by his videos and movie reviews, and very knowledgeable about Michael Myers. And he's one of these guys that can talk and for 10-15 minutes without taking a breath and never having to think of what he's trying to say, because he's got it all up here and it just flows. I wish I was like that. I'm not. I've got to do when I do this video, I've got to do like 50 takes because I can't think of words. I don't know what I want to say. I never rehearse anything. I just plunge into everything. And so, see what I mean? Mike Macabre is very well spoken. It just flows out of his mouth. So check out his videos. But anyway, he has been getting into Michael Myers sculpting, and I found this mask here, and he wanted me to finish it for him. I said, sure. And I also asked him, will you open yourself up to have your mask critiqued? And he said yes. I wanted to get her permission because a lot of people don't like criticism. All right, I can take criticism. Nick, your mask sucks. That's okay. That's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But some people, I try to critique their work, and they don't like it. So I don't do that anymore. But I will ask them, can I critique your work? That's probably the safest thing to do. So anyway, yes, he did open himself up to be critiqued. And so I'm going to show you his mask right now. Let's do the unveiling. And there it is. Now, I don't remember if he named this mask or not. But it is definitely a 78 stretch mask. So let me get a close-up. All right, so here is Mike Macabre's sculpt of the 78 stretch mask, which is, of course, pretty much more like the balcony scene and wherever Nick Castle stretched the mask. Now, it is known that the Michael Myers mask was too small for Nick Castle. So he couldn't even fit his whole head into the mask. So when he did have to wear it sometimes, he would stretch it over his chin. The mask was up here, his chin was down here, so he would stretch it. And that's what gave it that unique stretched look with the puckered lips. The nose was a little bit crooked and cocked, stretching the eye cuts out, and give it just that rubbery, stretchy mask look. And this is the look that Mike was going for. Now, I'm not going to critique it just yet. I am going to, I want to finish this, and I wanted to get it stuffed. But this is the blank form of Mike Macabre's mask. And let's get on with it, shall we? Now, one of the things I'm going to do is to add a little length to the eyes. It's very hard to draw this while it's not. I would normally take and put this in my lap. But I want to come up with there. Yeah. Nick here again in the pop-up window. This is great to be in a little window. I just wanted to get a few words in about critiquing a mask. Now, yes, I am going to critique this mask here at the end of the video. And now there's one thing about criticizing a mask and critiquing a mask. Criticizing, I believe that would be like, oh man, your mask sucks, you know. as opposed to, gee, you know, the eye cuts could use a little work, or the nose is a little bit off and that needs a little work. And that is a critique of the work, of an artist's work. Now, for one thing, to critique somebody's work and even to criticize somebody's work, don't take that as an insult. And let me tell you why. I've been doing art for probably most of my life, from into my teens to where I am now, almost 100 years old. And I've done so many things, and I've done, this is pre-internet, okay? It was a whole different world for artists. To get your work out, I'm not in a big city, I'm in New York, I'm not in New York City or a big city like that. I'm kind of like from a smallish to medium town. And I would do art shows, take my work around to art shows, and sometimes I would be able to get my artwork into like a bank or something, where they had these big display windows in the bank, and artists would put their paintings or sculptures or whatever in the windows, and it was always up for sale, and stuff like that. Outside from going from door to door, I did a lot of art shows. And I never sold one thing. Not only did I never sell anything, that nobody even said, gee, Nick, I like your work. No, nobody even said, gee, Nick, this sucks. What are you doing putting your work in an art show? And so I just want to tell everybody, it's worse to have your work go unnoticed than to have somebody critique it or even criticize it and say, man, I hate that. I would have loved for somebody to come up and say, I hate your work, Nick, because at least they noticed it. But for your work to go unnoticed is horrible, because it's not striking a chord, good or bad, with anyone. It's just not even there. It's not even present. So if somebody critiques your work or criticizes your work, it's not the end all. At least they noticed. And there's a lot of things on the internet, and new artists post their work, whether it's maybe one of their first masks or another attempt or whatever. And it's people come in and nah, that sucks, or they critique it and this and that. And everybody gets all in a tizzy. And I tell people this, that it's better, I'm going to say it again, it's better to have your work criticized or critiqued than to have nobody notice it at all. And that's all I got to say about that, and I'm going to close my window. Now, one of the things that I first see about this mask is it's very gaunt in through here. So I'm going to attempt to stuff out the mask to give it its proper stuffing. As if, so I'm going to try to approximate the stuffing so that it would look like there is a human head under there, namely Nick Castle. So I'm going to, I think we need a little bit of fullness in the cheeks. So I'm using this here. This is very good. It's not cotton. This is the type of stuffing you can get in craft stores, and I believe it's for stuffing pillows. It's very like spongy.
What?
Now you can see I'm bringing this out here. I also want to bring this out here a little bit. Give it a little bit of fullness. Yeah, just like that. Also, in through here, let's see if that'll work. To give it a little bit of fullness in there. Okay, we did that. One of the things about the cheekbones here is that they need a little bit more belly here, along with this one also. It needs a little bit more belly. It's a little bit of a flat look there going. And I'm going to put a little bit down in here also. And you notice how much better this eye cut looks. I brought it out quite a bit. It was just not quite where it was supposed to be. And I'm looking here, and I also want to bring this out on the sides here of the unstuffed look and the stuffed look, because it is so, it can make such a lot of difference if a mask isn't properly stuffed. I've seen some great masks, including mine, look absolutely horrible when people have it improperly stuffed. Now also, the nose is a little bit narrow here, so I'm going to try something, see if I can do, I'm not sure I can do anything, but I'm going to try to put some stuffing under the bridge of the nose to kind of bring that out. I mean, it is a very narrow nose, and it is slightly cocked to this side here because of the stretching that went on with the mask. The Tots mask is also like that, and that is true to the way that the mask actually looked when Nick Castle stretched it. I'm going to bring that out a little bit. Already it's looking better, I think. Another thing about the nose here, you can see where this is flat. It should be curved. Now, there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing, because of the thickness of the pull. Even if I were to put cotton under here, it's not going to give it that curve. So there's nothing I can do about that there. But I love the forehead here. And you saw me when I was shading, the eyebrows are just not quite lengthy enough. So I added just some charcoal powder to give it the illusion that they are a little bit longer. Also on the side here, you can see these stretch marks that he has going here. what there should be, there too many stretch marks here. What there should be, this center one, there should be this center one in there, and that's it. This one should be smoothed away, and that one should be gone. There should just be this one ridge coming down through here. And that was also prominent when the mask is not even stretched. There's that one ridge, that one pucker coming down here, and we can lose these two, but there's nothing I can do with stuffing that will take care of that either. Oh, let's get on with the ears. The ears are not too bad. They are a little large in here. I'd like to see them come down, resized, and this one is better in shape. I like that one right there. That one is pretty good. And let's go back to this ear. This ear, they were not symmetrical. The ears, there is nothing symmetrical about this mask. Everything is asymmetrical. This side of the mask does not match that side of the mask. And if you reverse just about any picture of Michael Myers, he looks wonky because you're used to seeing it one way. So it's not a symmetrical mask. And he is in the right direction here. It wasn't an exact duplicate of that other ear, but I would just like to see it just a little bit smaller. Now coming in with our, the jawline looks pretty good. Although I do think that the bottom jaw juts out just a little further than it should. I'd like to see that come in a little bit. And with the lips here, basically the whole, he's got this pucker pretty well fixed in there. The lips could use a little bit of refining. There's this little transition clay that should be in between the actual rims of the lips and going into the upper lip. It's a little sharp here, so I would like to see it a little bit more transitioned. Other than that, you know, he's on the right track. And this right here, this crease here, it's a little too pronounced. I would like to, if Mr. Macabre, if you ever do a resculpt of this, to smooth this down and make it a little more subtle. Along with these right in here, it's a little overly sculpted in here. A little more blending in there for these little lower lip things that come out of the bottom lip there. But it's a very, very good. I actually like it. So you can see with just some stuffing to try to correct some of the things that were a little off, just to see how that. So everyone says, "Oh, you got to use the Kirk Life mask." Yes, that's all well and good. But you cannot use the Kirk Life mask as it is. It needs a lot of work, that Kirk. You can't use anything just the way. Everything needs to be retooled, the Kirk Life mask. Because Michael Myers and Nick Castle and Dick Warlock and whoever wore that mask, they gave this mask its own identity when each person put that mask on there. Their facial features were doing weird and wonderful things with this mask. Stretching the nose, stretching the eyes, stretching it that way with Dick Warlock and making everything squinty. Everything, whoever wore the mask looked different. So depending on what look that you're going for, the most important thing is to get reference pictures. Don't rely on, oh, I made the Kirk sculpt and I'm just going to cast it and that's going to be Michael Myers. No, you have to pretend that Nick Castle's wearing it, pretend that Dick Warlock is wearing it, and put those features that their own face put into this mask. You have to add that. Just putting a white Kirk face here and cutting the eyes out, even if you cut them out perfect, and painting it white, is not going to make the perfect Michael Myers mask. You have to sculpt Michael Myers into it. And when I did the 13 mask, people were like, "Oh my God, this it's just a spit." Dick Warlock said it's the spitting image of Michael Myers, the 13 mask. And and I said I didn't set out to sculpt a Michael Myers mask. I set out to sculpt Michael Myers, and that's what I would like everybody to put in if they go for a sculpt. Sculpt Michael Myers. Don't sculpt a Michael Myers, a Kirk mask, and paint it white and think putting it on a foam head that's going to make the perfect Michael Myers mask. No. No, 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 no. Even though that's what the original Michael Myers mask is, when you see Nick Castle just holding the mask, yes, that is Captain Kirk painted white, all right? But when you see it worn by one of the actors, that is Michael Myers. When he's holding the mask, he's holding a Michael Myers mask. When you see it on an actor, that is Michael Myers. And solid effort for one of your first attempts. And I can only imagine, Mr. Mike Macabre, the incredible things that you are going to be turning out. Another thing I want to touch on while we're getting into the sculpture. First of all, after I compared my pictures with the actual picture here, I still want to make this eye cut a little bit longer. It still doesn't have the length that the eye cut should have. So I'm going to go back and cut it out a little bit longer. But one of the things I want to touch on that I love about this mask, and I'm not just saying this, is that he didn't over sculpt and over smooth the mask. I have so many people that send me pictures of their sculpts of Michael Myers mask or Kirk's, and it is so smooth and polished. And this is not what the original Kirk mask was. It was pretty much a pretty crudely sculpted mask. It wasn't like a skating rink smooth like people are sending me. And but you don't want to. Also, it's that subtle thing again. You don't want to make it overly crude. You can see here where there's a little clay line here where the clay was added, and the clay around here added. And so you do want to be careful about that. And you can see where I don't know if that's showing up, but the little streak marks in through here, which was pretty much, I'm going to say you used a water-based clay, or even if you used the oil-based clay, when you go to smooth your clay transitions, you use a cloth or something, and you can get little streaks in there from the cloth, and I see that in there. Another thing I want to touch base on is the neck. I said I love the neck flare, which I do. However, a typical mask, and I believe the original Michael Myers mask was like this. You can see, I'm going to use this Tots mask as an example. If you put the Tots face on a vertical plateau here, you'll notice that the neck comes up at the back and down in the front. Now you've got just about the perfect front length here, which was a little over an inch, maybe an inch and a half or so. But what I would do, and I'm going to ask you if you want me to trim it, I would trim it up to about here from the back to give it that slant. And then it's going to fit on the typical person better because your shoulders come up in the back here. And if this were to be worn, the back of the mask would pretty much stick out like this on a lot of people. All right, before you guys go, I got to tell you something. It's a known fact that 75% of the people that started watching this video will not watch it to this point, not even halfway through. The attention span is very short. So what I'm going to do, because you watched it to this point, I'm going to give you a treat, and I'm going to show you the worst mask that I ever made. And just like that other video that I did, yes, you won't be able to unsee this mask. But first of all, I want to thank everybody for all the likes and comments from my previous video, the mask you can't unsee, because that is probably one of my most popular videos from the first week. It outperformed all my other videos by about 300%. And I actually made, in 1 week, I actually made $20.33 from that video. And that's because of you with your comments and likes and views and everything. YouTube pushes it more. So keep up. Do the same thing for this one, and I appreciate it. And now let me tell you about this, my first mask now. This is a mask I made when Rob Zombie reintroduced Michael Myers to the world with his Halloween, the first movie. And it just sparked a whole new interest for me in Michael Myers, and I was like, yeah, I want to do a Michael Myers mask. I had never made an actual Michael Myers mask before. I tinkered with a few masks with my haunted house, but I never set out to make a really good Michael Myers mask. So I said, this is the time. And on the internet, there still weren't a lot of pictures out, so I got what I could, and I got my clay, and I sculpted and sculpted and sculpted, and I thought it was pretty good. It was kind of a rush job, because I wanted to have it out by the movie and try selling a mask on eBay. I got it out, and when I was so proud of it. When I finished, I'm like showing all my friends, look, I made a Michael Myers mask. This is the new mask from the new movie. Look, everyone, look. And I was so proud of it. I thought it was great. And I put it up on eBay, and for a year, I sold one a week on eBay. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And I didn't have in my head, I couldn't see how crappy it was. And some people were giving it hate and stuff like that, but I'm like, hey, I'm selling one a week on eBay. It must be good. But I was wrong. I didn't have the eye. My eye was not developed for Michael Myers as it is today. It is very developed now. I see Michael Myers in my sleep, and it's the first thing I see when I wake up. My eyes are developed. But I'm going to show you that mask right now. Now, like I said before, you can't unsee this mask. Run for cover if you don't like seeing hideous things. Here it is. It's a little on the small side. I'm going to get a close-up of it. But there's everything wrong about it. The hair is like fabric on the back there. I don't even know where I got it from. I could have ripped it off of another mask and put it on here. It's small. The features are not quite there. But yeah, this is my first attempt at my Michael Myers mask. And that is why I say, Mike Macabre, I am jealous of you, because you are so heads and tails in front of me from when I started out. I mean, I'm anticipating some great stuff from you in the future. And that's all I got to say about this video, and I am out of here, and I've got to dig a hole someplace in my basement, and I think just bury this one for good. Until then, I hope everybody has a horrible day. It's a horrible day in the mask pit. Oh, this is just the worst mask ever.